light of the NBA's protocol mandate, and I guess it was before then, you've got to have 8 players to play a game. You've been in a situation where you only had 6 really to play. Are you prepared for a situation where you might have to play a game where you can dress 8, but you can really only play 6 or 7?
Are you referring to the thing that happened in Indiana?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm referring to. But I'm not.
I think the rules might be different now. But we were able to dress 8, but 2 guys were a little nicked up, and the rest of them were suspended. It was after the brawl, the day after the brawl in the Palace. So, that was a different kind of situation. Right now we have 12 guys. So, with the ability to have your two-way players with the team all year, you have 17. And this is one of the reasons that they changed that structure this year. So if we get into a situation where we have 8 guys, then we'll play 8 guys. I'm not sure the basis of your question, assuming that if we have 8 guys, we'd only play 6 or 7. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me, unless a couple of the guys were hurt, in which case if they were hurt, I don't know that we would have 8 available to play. And then, that in that situation, it may end up in a postponement, but I don't know the answer to that.
All right, Dwayne Price, go ahead.
Rick, Cauley-Stein's been averaging over 9 rebounds the last 4 games during this 4-game winning streak. Could you speak to how effective he's been, not only as a rebounder, but also as a shot blocker?
Well, his length is a real positive factor for us at both ends. He gets a lot of offensive rebounds. He gives us a real strong rim presence as a roller offensively. He's just got a great nose for the ball, and he goes after it with tenacity. So he's been a very positive factor for us at both ends of the floor. And even though he's considered a non-spacing big, last night he did a great job of finding the nooks and crannies and spacing the right way with KP out there. So he's a very smart player, and he's a guy that does a lot of positive things for us.
Callie Kaplan, go ahead.
Hey, Rick, now that you've had about a day to kind of evaluate how Kristaps did in his return, his rhythm, or the way he was able to just kind of get back into the swing of things.
Well, I lost you there for a second, but I'll just try to guess what you were saying. I thought his first game was a very big success. He got over 20 minutes. He got a little bit of rhythm. He was able to get some game conditioning. And so, that's real positive. He did some good things, with his length around the rim defensively, and got rebounds. And it's just, this is just a thing where it's not all going to happen overnight in terms of him being back to his old self, in terms of, being in full condition with all the rhythm that he wants to have. And so, we're all going to have to be a little patient and manage expectations. But, his first outing was a very positive outing.
Kevin Gray, please go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, Coach. Your team obviously is second this season in defensive rating. Have you seen something specifically from Luka Doncic in terms of his leadership and how he has continued to embrace the defensive end of the basketball that's been infectious amongst his teammates this season?
Luka's a winner, and he understands that the defensive end of the floor is critical if you want to be a consistent winning team. And shot making is gonna be fickle. It's gonna come and go. But defense travels, and defense is something that you can always have. If your effort and attention to detail and intensity is there. And so, last night he had some of the best defensive possessions he's had his whole career in the NBA. I mean, there were 2 or 3 times when he got in great position, was able to get a hand on the ball. There was one time where he dove on the floor and tipped it to a teammate, and then we were off on the break. I mean, this is beautiful stuff, you know? So, and look, it's not like he's drawing easy matchups. You know, he matched up against Hayward last night. And I certainly think there's, you know, a good chance he'll guard Drew Holiday for stretches of the game tomorrow night. And, you know, those are really difficult assignments.
Eddie Sefko.
Howdy, Rick. Now that it's official, I was wondering what your take was on the James Harden trade and how this league continues to make, you know, amazing things happen, even with the crazy year that's going on.
Look, you talk about a blockbuster. I mean, right now, if you ask me without looking at the trade, I mean, I'd be able to tell you where Harden went, where Oladipo went, where LeVert went, but there's about 15 draft picks involved and all kinds of stuff. And, you know, I wouldn't want to presume to try to have to handicap who got the better of the deal or any of that kind of stuff. But I know that Houston's really well set up for the future with draft picks, and they've got a great young coach with Steve Silas. And, you know, Brooklyn basically went all in on James Harden and, you know, winning now. And, you know, I guess there's 2 other teams involved. So, you know, look at this kind of stuff is really fascinating for our fans. This really piques interest when you get, you know, blockbuster trades and marquee players involved and things like that. So I think it's great for the league. You know, beyond that, we'll see. You know, I'm very focused on our team and what we're doing day to day. I've learned over the years that, you know, the external things, you know, and things that you really have very little control over, there isn't a lot of point in trying to think about those things. You know, then you start rooting for one team against another team and you got zero control over it, you know? And so trades can kind of be the same way, but, you know, about a blockbuster like this, I think is great for the league. And, you know, we'll see how the whole thing pans out.
Christos, go ahead.
Hello, Coach. I would like to ask you, you have 4 straight wins after the win against the Charlotte Hornets. What are the factors of your game that improved through the last 4 games? And what is your plan to cut down Giannis' pace tomorrow?
Well, what's improved is our defense. You know, that's pretty clear. Somebody just said we're second in defensive rating, which I didn't realize, but that's, you know, that's a real step in the right direction. And look, right now, during this 10-day to 2-week period where we're dealing with COVID protocol issues, you know, we've just got to grind. You know, Luka Doncic has got to be the guy that's running the show out there. And we've just got to find ways to get stops and get the ball in the hole. As far as Giannis, you know, he's a great player. I mean, you know, my gosh, 2-time MVP, defensive player of the year. Guy's an absolute monster. And so, you know, we're going to have to oftentimes commit 2 or 3 guys to him just to keep him from, you know, running by us to the basket. And it's a really big job, but, you know, we'll do our best. We've got a plan and we've got some alternate plans. So, you know, we'll do our best and we look forward to the challenge.